What's going on, people? Mike Seatown here to give you my top 20 non-hip hop releases of 2013. Just so we're clear, this is my list, not your list. You can take exception with my list all you want, but at the end of the day, it will still be my list. I would love to see your list. Feel free to post your list in the comments below, but that will not change my list. Why? Because it's my list. So let's get started. At number 20 is Astronoid Stargazer. This is another fantastic band with a not so fantastic name. But regardless, this release is great. I loved their previous release, the November EP, but I think this one blows it out of the water. Calling this shoegaze black metal is a bit misleading, but I can't think of any other suitable term. The difference between this and other shoegaze black metal bands like Alcé or Les Discreets is that this is a bit more straightforward. It was just really fast black metal with really nice ethereal vocals. So done very well. So definitely check that out. At number 19 is Cold Cave, A Little Death to Laugh. This was a 7-inch that they dropped that I thought was absolutely fantastic. Great minimal dark wave. They left behind the more synth poppy sound of Cherish the Light Years to return to something more akin to their release like Love Comes Close. This is almost like an old 80s minimal wave band doing Joy Division covers. Absolutely fantastic. At number 18 is Ghost, Infestus Thusaman. What can be said about this album? This was a fantastic follow-up to their debut album. A bit more rock and roll than their last release, but it's still just as catchy and still just as enjoyable. Coming in at number 17 was Soror Dolorosa with No More Heroes. This was a combination of all my favorite old school goth bands, you know. Put Christian Death, The Cure, Echo and the Bunnymen, Sisters of Mercy, Cocteau Twins, put them all in a blender and you have Soror Dolorosa. This record is not doing anything different from anything that's already been released before, but it's different from anything that's being done right now, and it's being done extremely well. This would fit right at home in the early to mid 80s with some of those hot, spiky haired goth girls dancing to it, you know. At number 16 is Dessa, Parts of Speech. This is one of the most beautifully crafted albums to come out this year. Dessa has shown in the past that she's an incredible songwriter, but this album takes her craft to a whole new level, in my opinion. The way she approached the creation of this album is slightly different from her other ones, in that the quality is still there, but in my opinion, it's at a heightened level. This is an emotional roller coaster of an album, and I absolutely love it. I also did a review of this project, so if you care, go check that out. Coming in at number 15 is Deafheaven Sunbather. I don't typically say this, but with this release, there's a reason it's on everyone's list. This is one of the most well thought out, well played metal records that have come out in recent years. You know, the feeling that this album gives you is very different from a lot of other black metal records. You know, it's not necessarily happy, but it's airy. It's floating. I don't know. These guys have put together a masterpiece of an album. Play the name calling game if you want to. I'm more cult than you are. Call them hipsters if you want to, but there's no denying that this is an amazing record, so just get over it. It is what it is. At number 14, Vatnet Viscar, Sky Swallower. This is great US black metal, if you want to call it post-black metal, whatever, with a number of influences from doom to ambient. You know, you can hear everything from Dark Funeral to Neurosis to Swans on this album. It's a truly underrated metal album for the year. Coming in at number 13 was the self-titled album from the band Morphinist. Great atmospheric black metal from Germany with some really interesting post-rock elements. The song ideas and the transitions on this album were just really cool. You know, and for a one-man black metal project, it was really surprising how well this was composed. The songs really draw you in. They keep your attention. It's just really done well. I love this project. At number 12, Balandusk with Black Clouds Gathering. For all of you guys that absolutely loved the Deafheaven project, make sure you go listen to this one too, because these guys, in my opinion, they're another great melodic, atmospheric black metal band, and they do the sound just as well, if not better, to me than Deafheaven. These guys are from Indonesia. They have super catchy riffs, smooth, folky transitions, incredible songwriting, awesome musicianship. This is just a great fucking album, man. I think this album is really going unheard, and that's an absolute crime. At number 11, we have Passage Diver, Das Tor. I'm probably pronouncing the band's name wrong. I'm sorry if I am, but whatever. This album is awesome. Ambient black metal from Switzerland. This record shows exactly why I love black metal. I love when an album can make you feel something without driving the point into the ground. Whether it be sadness, anger, fear, depression, whatever. I love when you can just put something on and you just feel that without them telling you to. This release focuses on the idea of cold, freezing cold, and not since Blizzard Beasts have a band made me feel this cold simply with their music. This is super raw, and it just creates a really intense atmosphere. Like when I put this on, I get cold chills. At number 10, we have Death in June Snowbunker Tapes. This was the original guitar versions of the songs that were on Peaceful Snow. And while I enjoyed the piano lounge sounds of Peaceful Snow, I enjoyed this much more, as it's a sound that I think Douglas P. is more comfortable with. This is more his element than the piano stuff. What's cool about this album is the catchiness of the tracks. Douglas Pierce has an uncanny way of making his songs totally stick in your head. They're so melodic, they're so melancholy, but they're so catchy. And I think this album is probably better than the last few things he's done. I'll definitely say it's better than All Pigs Must Die, and I think that record's great. Coming in at number 9, we have Nick Cave, Push the Sky Away. To me, this is one of Nick Cave's best records. Yeah, I said that. One of Nick Cave's best records. Not as rockin' as his previous last couple of records. It's darker, it's quieter, it's more poetic to me. Some of his best songwriting in years. Coming in at number 8 is Pharmakon, Abandon. This was an absolute shocker of an album. Drony, noisy, gritty music with one of the most insane vocal performances I've heard in a long time. It's intense, grimy, dark. It's fucking scary, man. This album is really, truly scary. Think White House, Throbbing Gristle, Masona, but just with just a crazy vocalist, man. This is the sound of anguish, pain, sadness. Like, this is what I think hell is going to sound like. I've heard they play stuff like Deicide and Pantera for Guantanamo Bay prisoners. Play this album. If they know something, they will tell you by the end of the first song. Guaranteed. Coming in at number 7 is Over. I don't know how to pronounce this properly. Messe. Look, whatever. You just saw the album cover. Alright, read it for yourself. This is a very sparse release from Over. Very ambient, very melodramatic, very melancholy. Just all around absolutely beautiful though. Beautifully orchestrated, beautifully played. This album puts you in another place. This is the kind of album you put on and you just get smooth for a minute, man. You just sit back with a glass of red wine and some candles and just chill out. This is art as music. This is truly art as music. Number 6, Bass, Obsidian. When I listen to this album, I get the feeling of like James Blake mixed with Perfume Genius. It's very emotionally powerful lyrics. over glitchy, really interesting, almost Bjork-ish type of beats. This is a well-crafted, beautiful album. Absolutely took me by surprise, sideswiped me, blew my mind. At number 5, we have Coldbrand, Vertigo. When I listen to this album, it gives me the feeling of black metal. This is what Satyricon should be right now. This is a great mix of like newer black metal sounds with a few older sounds tossed in there, and they mix the two flawlessly, man. Like, this album is so good. I'm surprised that it's not getting talked about more. Like, this was seriously one of the best black metal projects I've heard in a long time, and I just don't understand how this went so unnoticed. At number 4, Beast Milk, Climax. These guys are newcomers of the year. I had never heard of them until somebody on Twitter, I forget your name, my friend, sent me the link, and I was floored, man. These guys are an awesome mix of some of my favorite bands. Again, Sisters of Mercy, Bauhaus, The Cure. But they just do it in a great, fast, rockin', gothy, post-punk kind of way. Of course, a lot of bands try to do this sound, but not all of them do it this well. I think Beast Milk, they do this sound damn near perfect. I love this album. Coming in at number 3, Mors Principium Est with And Death Said Live. What in the hell is going on with the metal community? Why is no one talking about this album? When I hear this album, all I think about riffs, riffs, riffs. Seriously, the riffs are so good, they make me feel almost like I feel when I listen to Slaughter of the Soul. I think these are some of the best melodic death metal riffs since Slaughter of the Soul. I will go on record of saying that. If you disagree, you're fucking crazy! This band and this album went completely unnoticed this year, and that is a crime. If you like melodic death metal, you have to hear this album. Period. Period. At number 2, we have The National with Trouble Will Find Me. On this album, I feel like they perfected their sound. Great, moody songs, you know. They took the sound of their earlier albums and just perfected it. You know, great playing, great songwriting, great production, great lyrics. The second I put this album on, I swear to God on my life, I said this is going to be in my top 10 for the end of the year. It puts you in an absolute zone to where you just like, all you hear is it. These guys put together a fantastic album, and I think if you haven't heard it, you are robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself. And number 1, my favorite album of the year, Carcass, Surgical Steel. Now, I know what all you little metal purists are thinking. Oh, this album sucks. It doesn't sound like hard work. It's not necroticism. Dude, this is not the album everyone wanted, but it's the album I expected. If you expected something else, I don't know what world you're living in. These guys put together a fantastic death metal album, which to me sounded like a natural progression from Heartwork, with a few touches of Swan Song thrown in there. This is better than Swan Song, alright? This should have come right after Heartwork. I don't need them to repeat themselves. I don't need them to give me Heartwork Part 2. I don't need them to give me Necroticism Part 2. I just wanted them to give me a great death metal album, and I think Carcass did that. When I put this on, all I'm doing is banging my head the entire time. The playing on this, great. The songs, great. Again, it's not vintage Carcass, it's 2013 old dudes Carcass, but it's still fucking awesome. They're still playing shit better than fucking 75% of the death metal bands out there. So yeah, if you haven't heard this, you need to get off your ass and go listen to it because it's awesome. And that, my friends, is my top 20 non-hip-hop albums of the year. Feel free to toss me your list. I'd love to see them. That's it. So, as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you. And I will see you guys very soon. Alright? Peace, bitches.